What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Lesser Athletes. My name is Chadwell, and today, like always, another interesting video for you here on the channel. Today is my WrestleMania 42 Night 1 Dream Booking. This is how I think we get to WrestleMania Night 1. With CM Punk and Roman Reigns already having Night 2, this is what I think the match should be. I don't think that this match is for certain. I think it's a little bit of a hot take. But this is what I think WWE needs to do. It's not what I think they will do. It's not really what I think will happen, just truthfully. I think this is what needs to happen and what should happen. We'll see if it happens. But I am dream booking everything from the minute that Elimination Chamber's done all the way till I think the SmackDown before WrestleMania or the second SmackDown before WrestleMania, and also kind of WrestleMania. We're going to talk about certain scenarios, and it is really a lot of imagination and fantasy, so stay with me. So let's get started. First off, the biggest domino and the start of this whole domino effect to get to Night 1 is going to be Elimination Chamber. For my dream booking, Cody Rhodes wins the Elimination Chamber. I don't know how he would win the Elimination Chamber, but I do want this to be the end. You could have Jacob Fatu in there, but you could honestly have Jacob Fatu go against Drew McIntyre. I would say probably not in this scenario, but the end is Cody Rhodes pinning Randy Orton. I could see a world where Randy Orton pins Jacob Fatu, Cody Rhodes takes advantage and pins Randy Orton to win Elimination Chamber. Voice going out a little bit there. Cody wins the chamber. He looks and probably does some type of point to Drew McIntyre if he's around in the area. And ultimately, it's showing that it's going to be Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. About a week later, it is now March 6th, and Cody Rhodes, the Elimination Chamber, opens up the show. He opens up as Elimination Chamber winner and fully announces that it will be him going after Drew McIntyre. And it is official. At Mania, we will get Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. Drew McIntyre is kind of stressed, kind of worried, doesn't know what's going to happen. He's been kind of already hating on Cody Rhodes before. He's kind of eliminated him from the Royal Rumble. There's a lot of passion and feuding already happened, but Drew McIntyre's stressed. And all of a sudden, we hear this commotion. The cameras pan. They look towards the commotion, and all of a sudden, we see a Cody Rhodes bloodied mouth. He's down. He's injured with a bloody mouth that looks similar to Jacob Fatu. Just a little too similar. I would end the show with this, and I would have Joe Tessitore announce after a match even that they saying, we're hearing that something's happening backstage. Let's please go to it. And all of a sudden, we see Cody Rhodes on the ground bloody. It is now March 13th, the next upcoming SmackDown. Nick Aldis starts the show, and everyone's confused. Everyone doesn't know what happened to Cody Rhodes from last week. News outlets are going crazy. They don't even know what's going on. Nick Aldis announces that Cody Rhodes was quickly rushed to the hospital and immediately went there. He also announces that Cody Rhodes is now officially out indefinitely. Nick Aldis says that he's investigating the situation, checking what could have happened, and all of a sudden, Drew McIntyre interrupts. Drew immediately wants to kind of nip in the butt that he wasn't the one that took him out. He was not the one to take out Cody Rhodes, like people kind of have been saying online. He was very adamant that he also didn't take out Jacob Fatu. Everyone thinks that it's obviously going to be him because he took out Jacob Fatu in the same injury. Nick Aldis stops him and says, I'm not blaming you, Drew, but he is very highly suspective about Drew McIntyre. He's the one that took out Cody Rhodes for the Royal Rumble. He's the one that's been costing Cody everything. It just makes sense that it's you. But Nick Aldis is really here to announce that the match between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre is officially off the table, and that someone has to be crowned the new contender to go against Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. Nick Aldis then announced that tonight we will have 2 triple threat matches, and the winners of each match will go on to face each other the next week to be the #1 contender, setting up someone to go after Drew McIntyre at least at WrestleMania. The 3 matches haven't been announced on who is in what match, but right when Nick Aldis is finished, Jacob Fatu interrupts. And Jacob Fatu is here to kick off the first triple threat. You could have whoever in these triple threats. I don't think that's a big priority right now. But all I know is this. Jacob Fatu will win the first one. You could have U.S. title people in it. You could honestly set up that storyline with this triple threat as well. And the second one in the main event that later that night, the winner is Randy Orton. And next week on SmackDown, March 20th, Randy Orton starts off the show. Randy Orton mentions that tonight it is Randy Orton versus Jacob Fatu in the main event to see who will go against Drew McIntyre at Mania, and he will do anything to win because the Viper is relentless and will win the WWE title. Later on in the show, Drew McIntyre has an interview and they're kind of asking him questions on this whole Cody Rhodes scenario. There hasn't been much from Nick Aldis, no one knows what's going on, and Drew is still the main suspect. Fatu then confronts him during this interview and Drew pleads that he didn't do anything. He also pleads that, like Jacob Fatu has been kind of going after Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre says, I didn't do you either. Fatu doesn't care. He's already pissed off. All gas, no brakes. You know how Jacob Fatu is. But he claims he will win tonight and go against Drew McIntyre. And this is where we get to the start of Jacob Fatu versus Randy Orton in the main event. It is a fantastic match like it should be. And at the very end, we're getting to the very crescendo when the RKO happens to the ref. It's not on purpose. It looks like an accident, but Randy Orton does RKO that ref. Randy Orton's in shock. Jacob Fatu takes advantage, and Jacob Fatu is about to win until Drew McIntyre, of course, has to get involved. Fatu and Drew start having a slight brawl on the outside, and Randy Orton's getting pissed off at Drew McIntyre because he's trying to get that championship as well and trying to get Jacob Fatu. Drew McIntyre gets kicked off. It's finally back to Jacob Fatu and Randy Orton. Ref is still down, no count from the outside, and Jacob Fatu gets hit with an RKO on top of the commentator desk. Randy looks like he's about to win. Jacob Fatu is fully out, laid out, and Randy gets claymored. The ref finally comes up, goes into the ring, and starts the count. And to finish off the match is a double count out. No one knows what's going to happen. Is Randy Orton? Is Jacob Fatu going against Drew McIntyre? Drew McIntyre's here just laughing. Before the show ends, Nick Aldis does come out and announce because Drew McIntyre wants to get involved in his business, Drew McIntyre will have to defend his championship at WrestleMania against Randy Orton and Jacob Fatu. On March 20th, it is official. Randy Orton, Jacob Fatu, and Drew McIntyre will happen night one at WrestleMania. Next week on SmackDown, it is March 27th, and the show opens up with the three. We have Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu, and Randy Orton out here. Fatu's pissed because he says it should be him if Drew McIntyre didn't get involved. Randy's saying if it wasn't for Drew, he would have won because he got claymored by Drew. And Drew, of course, thinks that no one should have to challenge him since no one won. They keep going back and forth, but once we start getting to the end, there's a kind of change. The end of the segment is when Jacob Fatu starts mentioning that Drew McIntyre took him out and how Drew costed time off his career. Drew swears he didn't, but the one person in this whole kind of three that's kind of looking away is Randy Orton. Drew then makes some sly comment to Jacob Fatu talking about the injury, maybe that he's probably weak enough to get injured. And Fatu immediately starts attacking Drew McIntyre. Randy then gets involved, but he doesn't go after Drew McIntyre. He goes after Jacob Fatu. And then we get Drew McIntyre taking out both of them because of Randy Orton getting after Jacob Fatu. Ultimately, like in WWE fashion, it's a big brawl with security. Nick Aldis, trying to calm everyone down, comes out and says that if anyone touches anyone, they're not going to Mania. Drew McIntyre, if he touches anybody, will also lose his title. Nick says they better prepare for next week and they all better be ready to see each other because they're having a contract signing in St. Louis, Missouri in the next SmackDown, which is, funny enough, Randy Orton's hometown. Later on in the show, we have a segment with Nick Aldis and Randy Orton. Randy asks, have you kind of heard from Cody Rhodes? There hasn't been much word on him. And Nick says he won't answer his calls. But he's just thinking that maybe it's because Cody just wants time to heal. The segment finished with Randy kind of worrying and pondering. It is now April 3rd in the next week on SmackDown. The main event is the signing between Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu, and Randy Orton. Obviously, everybody comes out with their entrance, but Randy Orton comes out because he's in his hometown. The Viper is back home. Each man is kind of hating on each other. They're talking about certain factors, about how they kind of everything's been going down, but each are agreeing to the contract. But right before Drew signed the contract, Cody's music hits. Drew's freaked out. Randy is shocked. Jacob Fatu's mad as hell. Cody walks out and he has a kendo stick. Drew is looking around. He's starting to kind of panic, doesn't know what to do. You can see him mouthing that he swear he didn't hurt him. He swear he didn't do anything. It wasn't him. Cody runs to the ring and immediately starts attacking Randy Orton. He beats Randy. Nick Aldis doesn't know what to do. No one thought that Cody Rhodes was going to attack his once mentor, Randy Orton. Drew's in shock. Fatu's kind of putting pieces in his head together. The crowd's hometown hero is the one who took out Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu. The crowd is screaming but doesn't know if they should boo Cody Rhodes or cheer for Cody Rhodes against their hometown hero. This is a destructive Cody Rhodes. Security comes out, has to separate basically just really Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. You could have Cody in the ring, you could have Cody in the ramp, but the main thing is Cody grabs the contract, looks at everybody, rips it in half. He grabs a mic and yells, "I'm not missing Mania. Add me to the match," and ending the show. The next week is April 10th. We are going on SmackDown. This is the penultimate SmackDown before WrestleMania. Cody opens the show, and it's not a nice, friendly Cody Rhodes. It's a pissed off Cody Rhodes. Cody is pissed about everybody jumping him. Just because he's injured doesn't mean Randy Orton and Jacob Fatu gets to jump him in line. Cody says he earned his right to be in this Mania match. Cody fought from the bottom to win this title shot back, just like how Drew McIntyre wanted it to happen. He went against the odds and he beat them. He says he has to be in the match. He then calls out the guy that tried to punt kick him to hell. A passionate Cody says he went to hell and back and he will slay the Scottish Warrior. He will slay the Samoan Werewolf, but most importantly, he will skin the Viper. Right when he says this, Randy's music hits. Randy jumps Cody from behind, and then we have a kind of brawl. But all of a sudden, Fatu then attacks Randy Orton. Fatu is now put the pieces together and knows that he was the one that got taken out by Randy Orton. Fatu then gets taken out by Drew McIntyre that is, of course, standing tall and, of course, getting in everybody's business. And we finish this SmackDown with Nick Aldis coming out and saying, what will happen? He announces it will be Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton versus Jacob Fatu in the main event of WrestleMania 42. Talking about likely night one. And that ends my kind of fantasy booking. Now, I will say you still have a SmackDown, pre-SmackDown or pre-WrestleMania that you could add to. In my opinion right here, it can be some short storyline. Maybe it's just showing the people that's involved what will happen the next night. But this is the kind of crescendo to get to our final story. Now, I'm just going to throw this out here. If this would happen, what would happen at WrestleMania? You could have Drew McIntyre stand tall because ultimately everyone's going after Randy Orton, or Randy Orton is going after them, or Fatu's crazy. But I would have Randy Orton winning by officially showing to the world his first ever punt kick. And I would do it to Cody Rhodes, the beloved guy of everybody. He wins by maybe an RKO and a punt kick to Cody Rhodes, pinning Cody Rhodes. You could also tell the storyline that Cody Rhodes maybe is banged up all the way to WrestleMania, not medically cleared, but he doesn't care and he's going to be there. So that's what I would do, and I think this is exactly what WWE needs to do for WrestleMania 42 Night 1 main event. It's a perfect fatal four-way between four people that have been carrying SmackDown. To me, this is what needs to happen. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me know if I cooked. I usually don't do videos like this. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you next one. Goodbye.